Morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee with the Pastor. Well, this week we're going to be speaking on God lavished his love on us, and are we willing to do the same for him? Wow. Because 1 John 3 says, how great is the love that the Father has lavished on us. Now, I just picture just this extravagant love being poured out by the Father on us. You know, from the day we get saved, I mean, his love is just so patient and waiting for us. But we're going to start with Mark 14. After 2 days, it was the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And the chief priests and the scribes sought how they may take Jesus by trickery and put him to death. But they said, not during the feast, lest there be an uproar of the people. Well, just right there, I'm just going to tell you, most commentators talk about the population of Jerusalem was about 50,000 in a normal time. But during the feast, that might balloon up to 3 or 4 times that. Even Josephus, the Roman Jewish historian, said that probably it was closer to 2 million people had flooded Jerusalem to come and worship at the temple. And being in Bethany at the house of Simon the leper, as he sat at table, a woman came having an alabaster flask of very costly oil of spikenard. Then she broke the flask and poured it on his head. This is Jesus, of course. But there are some who were indignant among themselves and said, why was this fragrant oil wasted? For it may have been sold for more than 300 denarii and given to the poor. And they criticized her sharply. But Jesus said, let her alone. Why do you trouble her? She has done a good work for me. For you have the poor with you always, and whenever you wish, you may do good to them. But me, you will not always have. She has done what she could. I love that. That is one of my favorite scriptures. She has done what she could. She has come beforehand to anoint my body for burial. Surely I say to you, wherever this gospel is preached in the whole world, what this woman has done will also be told as a memorial to her. Now, John 12 talks about the same situation with Mary. This is after Lazarus has been raised, and it says 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany where Lazarus was, who had been dead, whom he raised from the dead. I just love this, who had been dead, and it's like, what a great testimony. Then they made him a supper, and Martha served, but Lazarus was one of those who sat at table with him. Then Mary took a pound of very costly oil of spikenard, anointed the feet of Jesus, and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled with the fragrance of the oil. Now, spikenard is extremely aromatic, and it is, so when they broke the alabaster box, there is no going back. You can't put the cork back in it. You can't. The way it was made was when it's opened, and that's it. And you're done. And the whole house, can you just imagine that whole house smelling like spikenard? I know situations where you've got, like, some of the elderly women wear these very strong old perfumes. And they walk into a room, and before they even get there, the perfume smell is already there. Can you just imagine the fragrance when Mary broke the alabaster box? But one of the disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, who would betray him, said, why was this fragrant oil not sold for 300 denarii? That was basically a year's wage. And let her alone, Jesus said, she had kept this for the day of my burial. Well, this is an extravagant gift. You see, this was designed. Mary was the sister of Lazarus, and she takes what was reserved for her wedding night. Every Jewish girl wanted to be married and have children. That was their goal. And Mary takes this oil of spikenard, and she would have anointed her husband on that night. But instead, she took this and anointed Jesus. I don't care, she says. What she's really saying is, I don't care if I get married. I don't care what the situation is. Jesus is my Lord and I am grateful to him. That's it. This is amazing. So this is an extravagant gift. It's a gift that cost a year's salary. It probably she would not replace it. You know, this is just amazing. And I won't need this perfume. She said, I'm not going back. Once it was opened, it couldn't be put back and it couldn't be closed up. It would just evaporate. It was a year's wage and not likely it could ever be replaced. That's an extravagant gift, something that was special to her, but no longer mattered. Wow. God bless you, and we'll see you again next time.